So I got dispatched, and first of all, it's good to see all of you, and got all my travel buddies. I just want to let you know where we're going tomorrow. I'm in a service area right now in New Jersey. Dropped off the load this morning, and as is typical, it usually takes all day to get dispatched. Sometimes, I guess, and so I just got dispatched going from Lebanon. Interesting name, but going to Lebanon, New Jersey, which is about 50 minutes away from here. And I got to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning, about an hour away from here. I got to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I'll be leaving here around 5:30, probably around, let's just say 5:30. I'm leaving at 5:30. May have a coffee stop in the morning. There was one or two times that I didn't have coffee. I got a massive headache, so I guess I'm addicted to coffee. My body's telling me it needs it. But so tune in tomorrow around, let's say tune in tomorrow at 5:30, 05:30, that'd be East Coast time. And we will get started at 05:30 East Coast time tomorrow. Take about an hour to get to Lebanon, New Jersey, and then going to Cincinnati, Ohio. It's about another 600-mile trip. We'll make it tomorrow because it has to deliver the day after tomorrow in Cincinnati, Ohio. So tune in tomorrow at 05:30. I'll see you then. But before I go, I wanted to show you something that's really interesting. I'm in this service area right here, and let me show you this thing. So they're pretty interesting. From this service area, I can see MetLife Stadium, which MetLife Stadium is really interesting because you have, in all of the NFL, the National Football League, you have two teams. You have one, in all of the NFL, there is only one stadium that hosts two teams. So, and that's the New York Jets and the New York Giants. Both play at MetLife Stadium, which is a part of the Meadowlands, which is what, I'm not sure about the history of the Meadowlands, but I know that the Meadowlands is affiliated with New Jersey, and at that facility, which I'm about to show you, I'm a little bit ways away from you. You may not be able to see it. Maybe I can enlarge the picture, where it's the only stadium in the United States and in the NFL that hosts two, not one, but two NFL professional teams, the New York Giants and the New York Jets. So, and that is right here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Actually, you may not be able to see it. We're pretty good ways away from it. I can't even see it. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, on the left, try to make it bigger here. Okay, so that is actually, oh shoot. That right there is, I don't know if you can see it because I can't see the picture, having to hold it up over that grassland, but that is MetLife Stadium, and that's part of that whole area right there is part of the Meadowlands Sports Complex. I had to Google it and find out exactly what that is, but that is MetLife Stadium right there, and that's where the New York Giants and the New York Jets both play. So I'm sorry about that quality on there. Yeah, so I don't know if you could see that or not. I thought it was very interesting. It's rare. There was one time I went to Wisconsin. I actually got to go to the Green Bay Packers stadium, which is pretty interesting. I actually was able to go inside and have a tour of the Packers stadium, which is really kind of cool because since I was young and even knew what football was, the Packers were my team. I mean, I used to say from the very beginning, the Pack is back. I don't know. when I was young and following the Packers, I think they were terrible. I mean, they were no good. They're a lot better now. Once they got Brett Favre and then subsequently Aaron Rodgers as quarterbacks, they were able to really kick some butt and be competitive, you say it that way. So it was quite a thrill to be able to go. It's probably going to get loud because walking by this truck, but it was a thrill. Hang on. So to go to the Green Bay Packers Stadium, Vince Lombardi Stadium, was kind of cool. I always saw it in pictures and on the internet, but to actually go there, and the Packers Stadium is pretty amazing. That in the winter, it's an open air stadium, and so you'd think of all the stadiums, like the one we just saw, MetLife Stadium, is a dome. It's completely enclosed. But you think of all places in Green Bay, Wisconsin, that they would have enclosed stadiums, but they're kind of an old school football team. And but so I have heard and verified by someone that lives there that if you agree to shovel the snow when it's snowing in a football game, that they will they'll let you attend the game for free. But I assure you, you're going to be shoveling those yard lines on the football field. That's no easy work. So I guess you definitely earn your ticket. I want to show you this real quickly. Here's my truck. I want to show you this real quickly. Tell you this is kind of interesting. This is what I did when I was sitting around waiting to be dispatched all day. So that's weird. To me, it looks like I have I'm a little like a cone head with I got my Corona dew going, so I need to get a haircut. But be that as it may, I'll show you what I did. So I was just waiting this morning to get dispatched, as I said, but it was a good time to put my antenna on. I don't know if you were with us yesterday. Every time I go in an underpass, the radio would cut out and just bad reception. So what I did was I installed a better antenna, so hopefully we won't get that. The only problem is, it was quite frankly incredibly hard to do, in the sense that I didn't have a ladder. I'll show you in just a minute, but I put that antenna on the top. The only thing is just a little bit higher than my trailer, and as we touched on yesterday, the trailer's height is 13 feet 6 inches, and I have gone under bridges holding my breath that were 13 feet 7 inches, hoping that thing didn't settle. Honestly, I just hit the gas and went as fast as I could. I figure, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But I don't recommend that. But check this antenna out right here. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of slanted, but it had to be slanted with the way I put the nuts and the bolts on. The only way that they could do. But check this out. Oh, you might not be able to see it actually. Let me make it bigger here. Okay, here it is. Okay, see that little bitty black thing up there on the top of the truck? See how it sticks up there? Well, let me show you the back of it real quick. Hang on just a second. Deacon would come out and say hi, but he's in a bad mood. I think he stays that way. So check this out. Alright, so like I said the other day, here's the airlines, and it's on a little cable thing right here, which that cable thing there, when you turn the truck, it like stretches, because see, it's very long, but it also stretches by that thing right there, whatever it is, thingamajiggy, that stretches with the truck, so you don't rip the wire, rip the lines, the hoses out of your trailer. If you do that, that's a big deal. That baby's going to stop on a dime. This is pretty interesting right here too, real quickly. This is my old beat up APU. And an APU stands for an auxiliary power unit. It's an acronym for an auxiliary power unit. And an auxiliary power unit is basically that little thing, which, here, check this out. Okay, so you just open up this little thing here, and this thing, oh yeah. So say you have this whole little dirty motor in there, but that little dirty baby can actually, it runs the heater and the air conditioning. And the reason why not all trucks have them, most newer trucks have them. Oh, here's Deacon saying hello. He probably wants to go use the bathroom, but there he is right there. And so the auxiliary power unit runs your heater and your air conditioning when your truck is, so you don't have to idle the truck. Back in the old days, actually not that long ago, but it is an extra even on new trucks, but it's well worth it. And because back in the old days, still even now, trucks will idle just like you would do in your car. The air conditioning and the heater would not work if you didn't have your car on. You could turn it on, but it's just going to blow hot air unless the engine started. Well, the same way with the truck. A lot of the older trucks, and still to this day, a lot of trucks just idle. But if you have an APU, then you don't have to idle the truck. Number one, the truck's loud. You tend to get used to it, and it becomes white noise. I've been driving for about 6 years, and about half of the trucks probably had a total of probably 7 trucks in 6 years. And I've driven Internationals, which is a brand of truck. I've driven Volvos. I've driven Kenworth is what I have now. And what else? There's another one in there. Oh, Freightliner. Cascadia Freightliners. That's typically a fleet truck anyway. A lot of truck drivers drive Cascadia, whether Freightliners, whether the Cascadia or some evolution thereof. This truck that I have now is a Kenworth T680, and it's in my opinion one of the best because it was designed all by truck drivers. Excuse me. So who better to design a truck than somebody who's going to be living in it? Word. So all right, so what I was going to tell you is that the reason why it's important to have an APU is because the number one thing that puts trucking companies out of business is the cost of fuel. It's the most expensive line item that a company has on its book, which is the fuel cost. All other things they can deal with, but the fuel cost is the intangible, but it's the necessary thing. So I'm sorry, let me got sidetracked here, but let me show you what I was talking about the antenna. All right, so the antenna is right there, and so it's hooked to the top of the truck. But in order to get it up there, I was only to get 2 of the 4 bolts in because they can't. You can't drill anything in the. You can't drill anything in the trucks. I don't own the truck, so I basically had to stand there, there, and then I'll tell you as a fact, it was hard as heck. Hell. Don't say hell. It was hard as hell. I don't know if you've realized when you hold up your arm, how long you hold up your arm. It starts getting harder, and I don't know about doing the little nuts on the bolts. No easy task while you're trying to balance. So it'd have been best to get a ladder, but needed to get that up. One last thing before we go. Again, thank you for everyone for tuning in, and I'll be cutting out tomorrow morning at 05:30. Join me then, and we'll be heading to Cincinnati, Ohio, and that's about 600-mile trip. So before I go, though, I wanted to show you this back of this trailer. It's a 53-foot trailer that you can detach from the truck, and I showed you a couple of days ago how that's actually done. We can run through that at a different time when we have a pre-trip, and I'll show you the pre-trip. The pre-trip is all geared toward if you're driving 600 miles, you want to make sure that you do the things, at least catch some of the things, the obvious things that could go wrong before you set out on a case in point 600 mile trip. And I've gotten it down. I can do it in about probably 15 minutes just because I know exactly what I'm looking for. But when I first started out, it was almost, I couldn't even imagine ever being able to drive a big truck like this. A 40-ton truck when loaded, 80,000 pounds is legal. That's what you can haul most of the time. But the truck weighs roughly 35,000 pounds, give or take, especially when it's loaded with fuel. Got two 100-gallon fuel tanks. So you got 200 gallons, and I don't know how much fuel weighs, but I figure it's probably maybe 6 pounds per gallon. So I mean, if you do the math, you can see. But one of the things I want to show you real quick, so is this 53-foot trailer. This is where all of the product goes in. A full load would be anywhere from 42,000 pounds to 40. I've pulled 43,000 pounds of product before, and with the 43,000 pounds, whatever the 80, that's about right. With a 43,000 pound pull in the trailer, your truck's going to weigh roughly 37,000 pounds, depending on how fat the truck driver is, which a lot are. And in their defense is that, I mean, shoot, you drive 11 hours per day, and you work 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, up into, typically I'll work 70 hours a week, which is as much as you can work. I work 60 to 70 hours a week, which is as much as you can work. Where are you going to eat? It's hard because what you have is a lot of fast foods restaurants. I mean, Subway, McDonald's, Burger King, stuff like that. And you just have to watch what you have to eat. I've been able to, I put on 50 pounds in my first 15 months of truck driving. I put on 50 pounds, and that's unacceptable and unhealthy. But it was basically just pretty much living a hedonistic lifestyle, eating when I wanted to eat, just quick, hit and run type stuff. But that's the worst kind of stuff for you. But I quit doing that. I now have a refrigerator on my truck. Made sure that any truck I get, I can get a refrigerator on there. I haven't gotten a microwave yet, but with a refrigerator, though, I can drop by any Walmart and stock up on perishables, lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, all the good stuff that we all should eat. But again, I get distracted, and so without further ado, you got a 53-foot trailer. And see, so you got these nifty doors here that you can open, and they actually pin back on the truck. Everything is ingenious the way everything is made. And I guess when you have supply line issues, for as long as America's been moving product, they figured this thing out, and everything is efficient, everything's as simple, and that's the way I like it. But on this 53-foot trailer, like I said, it's empty now. I'll need to sweep it out for the delivery in the morning, but that's no big deal. I just have a broom in the truck, and it, just part of the job. So a little bit of information there, and so I will see you at 05:30 Man, that's weird with the back way it makes me look, but you know, I look weird enough without the background to make me look like a cone head, but maybe it doesn't come across like that. But anyway, I will see you tomorrow at 5:30. Join me, 05:30 is when we'll kick it off, like I said, and we'll head to Lebanon, New Jersey. We'll pick up there, and we'll head to Cincinnati, Ohio. So until tomorrow, my friend, get some rest, and I'll see you at 05:30 tomorrow morning. Take care. Thanks for joining me. I will see you then. Mahalo.